So another big one that we always talk about, because will never be finished, but it has been a feather in your cap again for a lot of progress made in 2022. A lot of collaboration. One of those is the Justice Center project in Breckenridge. This one, Tamara, is really interesting because it is our first modular project for Summit County. Talk to us about Fading West, our developer on that project, and the overall project.
Yeah, so there continues to be a great deal going on in the housing space with Summit County government. In fact, I think it was just a couple weeks ago, we had a work session where we walked through about 30 different strategies that we have put into place since really Josh and I were elected, and even before as Elizabeth worked on them. So we're excited to see some of those come to fruition. One of those is the Justice Center project, which is right next to the Justice Center on Airport Road. Commissioner Lawrence really started the work on this before Josh and I were elected, and it's exciting to see it move towards fruition. As you mentioned, it's a modular apartment building, and I think it's the first or second modular apartment building in all of Colorado, actually.
Colorado, wow.
And so we have been working with the town of Breckenridge and Fading West, which is the builder, essentially, that has the factory that will put all these together. And then in 2023, they will be driven up to Summit County on a truck, and we will put them on the property and move forward. So the work in 2022 is really focused on the site development, making sure that they have water and sewer, making sure that they move through the planning process, putting ourselves in line to actually have them built in the factory. All of those things that need to happen before a project comes to be reality for folks that desperately need that housing.
And that was a great visit for you guys. The governor joined you on one of your visits. I think you were down there a couple of times last year. It's a great facility. What was it like to be able to see these houses, these units in a giant facility down in Buena Vista, I think is where Fading West is, right?
Yeah, it's certainly a lot of fun for me, I think for all of us, to go down and take a look. You know, it's fun to see the way that the boxes move through the process. You know, they get constructed, and then they get, you know, their insulation, and then they get painted, and they get their, you know, all of their pieces, and you can walk around the floor and really follow the box through the building of it. It was fun.
We got some great pictures of you guys. We'll show them here on the screen in a second. So continuing on housing, the county jointly purchased another building just outside of Breckenridge, or just on the border in an unincorporated Summit County, easy for me to say. Tell us about that. It's the Wayside Inn, the Loge, the Lodge. What are we calling it, and what is it?
This week?
Yes, called this week. We keep changing the name. It's the Wayside Loge, Lodge, or whatever else anybody wants to refer to. But the bottom line is, this is another conversion project. This is a second conversion project for Summit County government, also a partnership with the town of Breck, where we've taken a hotel that's really not being used anymore because of changes in the tourism industry, and we convert it into workforce housing. The goal with this property, one, it's live now, so folks are actually living in it, which is exciting. It's more housing for our workforce. But the long-term goal is really to develop that whole site and make it into more permanent and stable workforce housing moving forward. So, you know, conversion continues to be a part of our overall plan, much like the construction, much like the preservation pieces, but also some of the changes we've made around our code to make it easier for folks to build accessory dwelling units on their property. We signed an IGA with Habitat for Humanity to build, I think it's 5 townhomes right next to the Snake River water treatment plant. We continued waiving fees, we continued our buy-down programs and our lease-to-local programs, so a whole lot of strategies that we executed in 2022. We're starting to see some progress in terms of the overall number of units we're adding to our bed base in Summit County.
Yeah, and I think when you guys, the three of you, are working with the public and advocating for more housing in our community, a lot of people think about housing as a really long process. But back to Wayside Inn, people are already living there. This closed in when, Elizabeth? It was June or July, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we closed on it, and there's already people moving in. So I think that's something that maybe the community doesn't always realize, how quickly you guys can work when those opportunities present themselves. So congratulations to you guys, and I think there's about 5 units left.
so.
We're looking to fill the rest of those, and I think there's going to be a long waiting list for that
It's
one.
been critical workforce that has been moved in there.
Yeah.
And that is certainly a strategy that if we can't plow our roads and do some of this basic government service,
Right.
it's really difficult. And so we were able to focus in buying this and say, we need our critical workforce to move in there.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Hey, this costs money, right?
does.
So as far as I've heard, there's a lot of dollars that need to get spent to build a unit of housing. I think is somewhere around what, $400,000?
$500,000 right now.
And going up.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's not going
Every
down
day.
every day.